Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTuber. Welcome to another edition of Airy Sky Read-A-Lee's video blog. I'm Airy Sky, also known as Fleet Admiral Krabby McCoffee. If you're new to the channel, hit the like, subscribe, thumbs up button. If you're coming back, or welcome. So we have a great edition this morning. We're going to be talking about no food stamps, no SNAP benefits, that's part of it, that's the same program, and no EBT. Now, my adopted brother, Ted, and then I had another person, the Higgins, both of them, messaged me this morning. Told me to get off my butt to make another video. The reason for it? Apparently they like the numbers. Nah, I don't like it. It would be better. Alright, so, today I want to talk to you about 33 days in, government shutdown, people are panicking. My email box has been blowing up with, what are we going to do about food? One person keeps emailing me claiming that I'm a fake prepper. Really? Who's the one with the food, huh? You're just jealous because you're like out, and then they're making threats. Go ahead, do whatever you want with me. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, the point is, it's the little channels like this that basically give the real news. Now, this morning while I was on the toilet, I have a great up-to-date for you. Yes, I do wash my hands. I did before coming in. Basically, it goes like this, people. The American people are seeing benefits dwindle, okay? The government shut down, okay? 33 days. You got the Supreme Court saying, oh, well, you know, Donald Trump can do this or that. And I'm not going to basically belittle Donald Trump. I'm not going to belittle the Supreme Court. I'm not capitulating either, but I'm making a statement here, and that is, there's two reasons why the government is shut down, okay? The two reasons. You guys can sit there and say, oh, but your reasons, Rita, are pretty crappy, or that's the wrong reason. Hear me out. So, Saturday morning, yesterday, food stamps came to a grinding halt. The government turns around. I want to get my notes completely accurate here. The government, I got my notes right here on this. The government came out with a deal, right? 2 courts out of 3 apparently said, you got to fund partial government. You can't partially fund food stamps even if you don't have a skeleton crew working the USDA. First of all, the USDA is a skeleton crew, okay? So as long as the government is shut down, nothing is going to get done, okay? That's the first problem. Now you have 3 other small problems coming stacked up, right? It's like a pancake being stacked up one top off the other, right? Or an omelet, or you're making a anyways, it goes like this, okay? There's a lot of people worried about the food stamps. Some of them get $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 a month or more. Those are the ones a lot of people say, oh, they shouldn't get that much money. See, I bring in $24 a month food stamps. You see me complaining? Negative. Yeah, my adopted brother, Ted, he'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, well, that's why you rotate freezer out, brother Ted. And when you do it, you rotate it out, then you eat. I mean, even the lovely Zoe, if she was on food stamps, would use some common sense. She'd probably watch my channel and say, you know, there's some common sense right there, you know. But a lot of people are, yeah, I do love Zoe dearly, okay. I love all people. Sometimes I have dreams about people. But anyways, I had a dream last night. I was talking about solitude and Skyrim. But anyways, point is comes to, see, the sun just left. So this room is probably about 60 degrees warmer because the sun hits the window, heats this place up, and gets me out of bed a little early. But don't worry about that. That's called solar heat. Sun hits it, heats the magnifying, and then my house is heated for the entire 18 hours without needing the electricity. Why do you think my electricity bill's a lot cheap? Yeah, so, bottom line is, solar windows. Yeah, so you guys turn around and you say, oh, but, I'm not done. So there's 2 reasons why I think the government shut down. One is Epstein. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are like, just give us the Epstein files and let us be happy. You really think that giving the Epstein files is going to make someone happy? I mean, I would think. Anyways, let me check my notifications because that could be my delivery that just came in. 2 shipments arrived. Alright, let me check the door real quick, people. This is some food supplies that we got brought in. As a no. Knock it off. Knock it off. Alright, so as a prepper, this is some of my prepping supplies for the month. Knock it off. Some of my prepping supplies for the month. And then I got to break these boxes down. So, first thing is first, we got light bulbs. Needed those. Yeah, the Higgins, he's always like, what did you buy? Soap, Zest. These are $4 a box, people, on Amazon. You think I'm not going to buzz up 8 bars of soap for prepping? This keeps me clean. Yeah, $4. Yeah. Amazon's hurting right now, so they're cutting their deals with this. So apparently there's this Chrome Edition Harry's razor. Chrome Edition, one of the Chrome one. And then this is, what is this? This is the shaving gel. All this is prepper supply for the soap I don't need to buy for the next 12 months. So we got soaps and we got this Amazon basic set of light bulbs. This is 24 light bulbs. This will last us a long time. Why did we do this? So we don't have to buy in the future. Alright, so $4, quote unquote, per box of soap is what we call a prepper's paradise. You're wondering what's next. Well, we got more here. See, as a prepper, you guys get to see that I just prepped up pretty good. So this was something that's needed per month, and that is milk bones. See? Good old milk bones. Yeah. So, milk bones are Moppy's favorite treat. Alright, so milk bones, there's one more box and I'll show you what's in it. Then I gotta break down boxes tomorrow. There we go. So, last box of the preps. What do we get? You see, as a prepper, we prep. My coffee I don't think came today. I think it's coming tomorrow or something, or Monday. So, as a prepper, I bought. And this came out of my own money, so don't argue. Food stamps did not pay for anything. Food stamps shouldn't have, but I'll show you that. Okay, so as a snack, I decided to get cheese balls. That's right. Once in a great while, I wanted cheese balls. You see? It says right here, cheese balls by Oots. This is pretty good. Alright, so did we go backwards? No, I set the clock. It's got to be the same. Okay. So I'm going to look at these while we talk because, as you probably well aware, Chloe ordered. She went in, I went in. So we each got light bulbs. So this is sealed pretty good. So let's just grab my knife, pop it open, and look at the light bulbs. Alright, so where is my tool I usually open things with? Where did it go? I have two of them, and yet half the time they go missing. I may just grab a steak knife and get it over with. Alright, here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at these. As a prepper, this is the reason why I keep telling you to prep. Some of you say, well, we can't afford 24 light bulbs. Yeah, well, that's where you're wrong. You see, all these people in this day and age, they want what they want. I don't want to sit on that. Okay. See, once you get grip on where you're putting this, it's easy peasy. There we go, see? Alright, so as a prepper, this isn't just about EBT or non-EBT. It's about everything. It's about, life. Alright, so 3 light bulbs out, 3 light bulbs go in. See, we've had a light bulb problem for a while, so it's best. But you people there, you say, well, what's the point? The point is these are 18-year light bulbs. And I like my light bulbs. Alright, there we go. So, once we get these done, we can continue with Y food stamps and Epstein. There we go. There we go. We got light. And it's all done. See? Alright, so let's just move this. So these are 18-year light bulbs. And as a prepper, you buy light bulbs, you won't not need them for years. Oh yeah, I'm liking it. So those lights are now in, and they're very bright. So, amen. So, now that we got the light bulb problem fixed, that's some of the prepping supplies I got today. I got coffee due tomorrow. We will cross-check the orders because, well, it's the orders, and I've still got Chrome open. So, basically what's left in my prepping status is is not yet shipped is coffee. So we got coffee and paper towels. I got toilet paper coming too. So coffee, paper towels, and toilet paper are the only things coming this month. As a prepper, I took the liberty of basically prepping as best as possible due to the fact that I needed that to be delivered oh, come on. So my adopted brother's being a pain in the butt, okay? So basically he's like basically complaining about the video capture of the video and saying, "Oh, you made an error." I don't care if I made an error. Thing is, he should be getting to work. I've given him a gift card and told him to get to work. His job is to look at this. So apparently this guy on my channel, I don't watch much left-wing media or right-wing, literally stated something about anonymous is something to do with anonymous. Let me go and do this real quick. Let me see. No food. No benefits. Stupid there. No food stamps. No EBT benefits. No STAT benefits. All gone. Yes. So apparently he's complaining about my spelling. He can go kiss up a royal red boot and kiss the royal red boot. Yeah. There you go. So anyway. With this, first part is being Epstein, more likely. The second reason is more likely the more let me see. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Is this all? Yeah, he basically just put. Yeah. Fine, let's do it this way. Yeah, so anyways, let's get down to business. So, basically, your guys are saying, well, what's an option 2? Why is reason 2 possibly the reason we don't have food stamps? EBT. Simple. That is, the best part is, let me read you this from my notes. You can even ask Grok AI, GROKAI. You can ask Gemini. You can ask ChatGPT. You can ask Copilot. I've asked them all and come back with the same dang answer. So why do you say, well, why are you doing it? Because they make a point. Point goes like this. If it works, oh, I can actually activate it from there. So let me grab my other tablet. The phone thing is frozen. So this will be easier to activate because it's charged. Okay, so. And I can reset the conversation right here. So it goes like this. Okay. Alright, so basically there's 3 versions. Okay, so the breakdown is 1, the Supreme Court is going to get involved. That's a must. Okay. 2, people say, oh, well, we're entitled to our food stamps. No, you're not. You see, in the 12 appropriation bills, maybe you should do some research in Congress and the Senate. The 12 appropriation bills, the USDA has housing and SNAP benefits lumped into one with the farmer bill. That doesn't get paid. Food stamps don't get paid. EBT doesn't get paid. Cash assistance doesn't get paid. The food stamps gives you a cash assistance part. EBT part. 2. There's other appropriation bills that haven't been paid. That means Medicaid. Ding, 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 ding. Wow. 12 appropriation bills. Now let me show you what AI has said or told AI. AI is saying, so there's 3 court justices. 2 say they got to fund the food stamps, right? People are like, yes, but how do you run a computer when all of the USDA is furloughed? The only ones aren't furloughed apparently are the higher ups of the USDA. Certain parts of the USDA is open, but everything else is shut down. Why? That means that even if they wanted to give partial payment of $5.8 billion is what they claim out of a $9 billion bill. You're still shafting it. Who gets paid? Who doesn't, huh? Mothers with children? Oh, we'll give them money. But we won't give... I'm just going to throw names out there. Some of my moderators as an example. We're not going to give moderator Pee-wee food stamps this month. We're not going to give moderator the Higgins food stamps this month. Heck, we're not going to give Ted food stamps. We're not going to give Rita food stamps. We're not going to give Chloe food stamps. We're not going to give Zoe food stamps. We're not going to give Mark food stamps. Every one of my moderators, they can turn around and say, well, the children come first. Cutting out, and then they see a single elderly person. They're like, oh, this elderly, they could go in and they could basically delay it by a week and do a database to find out what everyone's incomes are and be like, this person's getting 24 because they bring in too much. We'll just cut their 24 out and give it to someone else. Cutting out all the low people that bring in very little to bring in a skeleton peanut amount to give it to other. My other neighbor, she's gets like 40 a month. But they cut her out, and everyone's worried about their disability. They're not going to lose disability. That's a mandatory funding program. That's always paid. But the government shutdown, the food stamps, and the Medicaid is not mandatory paid. Yeah. So, is he complaining about water, or is it something else he's complaining about? No, he's got... No. Yeah, okay. So anyways, got you some water, son. So anyways, the bottom line is look at that first section, right? First section, 12 appropriation bills. You can't just appropriate money under emergency pretenses. Now let's break this out. Oh, well, they should because I'm entitled. Really? Then what happens if they deplete the emergency funds and it goes into, rolls into month, it starts into month, the month 3, huh, in December, huh? And they're like, the biggest shutdown. You see, Democrats want to use the food bank shutdown. By the way, the government, let me check something real quick here. Alright, so it's a two-layer pronged approach. So basically you got two government thingies, and the government's turning around and saying, well, we're going to divert research and development funds to pay the military, right? And then donors and all this, they're paying the military. Unfortunately, eventually, these donors are going to sit there and say, well, what are we getting out of it if the government's still shut down? Currently, there is no way except for, quote-unquote, getting payments or food stamps unless you go to the office. Most of the state offices are open, but on limited hours. Limited hours because no one wants to go to work. So they all want to think that staying home's the best course of action for their family. And that is, some blue states are saying, well, that's a good idea, frankly. Yeah, until you're basically trying to talk to someone about business, Social Security, food stamps, whatever, and you got a little kid in the background screaming, and they're like, I'm sorry, I work from home. Now, so, let's see, did my note come back yet? Let me see. Here we go. So basically the note is that the human impact is they have the money. The constitutional failure to power the purse. So Congress can't govern. They're saying Congress is broken. They're trying to break Congress, I think, because they want Congress to basically be fully broken so the Congress can basically be dissolved and say, look, we need someone, a strong man like Stalin or Mao or Ho Chi Minh, will come in and say, our system's broken. Fortunately, the American people aren't going to tolerate that. They're literally seeing that what's broken is the Republicans and the Democrats can't get together to pass a bill to feed them. And yet, at the same time, people come to me in email and say, hey, I'll give you a $100 gift card if you basically tell me your opinion on, does these freeloaders need food stamps? Well, if you want to get technical, sir, and I'm not going to take your gift card, even if there was a gift card in my email box, some of these people, like the neighbor who claims he's getting like 600 in food stamps, shouldn't get it because he works under the table, apparently, allegedly, and he drinks a lot of booze. So you can't support an alcoholic. Me? $24 a month. Who cares? There's people out there that really need it, that's going to struggle. The elderly that are really going to struggle, and that's where we have to look after them. And yet, most people, I saw a video by a guy who was talking about no food stamps. He's like, if you have the money, donate $200 to an elderly. Most people wouldn't even donate $200 to an elderly. I tell you what, they'd be most interested. Let me tell you the reason why the food stamps and the food banks have failed. All right, and I'm going to say this with a heavy heart. All right, because as someone who views everything from a different lens, people say, "Oh, the weirdo." The lens goes like this, people. I may be different, but when I ask questions, I ask legitimate questions. So basically, the administration's arguing that the disaster funds, right, the emergency funds, was for hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, etc. That's what it was there for. But this is not a disaster or a crisis where the government shuts down and these people need to eat. I mean, look, some of the elderly, they should have planned carefully, but they can't. Why? Because the elderly, some of them live in group homes. And so they don't get much food stamps. What they do get usually goes to buy whatever to fill their little mini fridge. Even my adopted brother Ted knows that one. Now, if they're living at home, in their own home, they have to cut corners. Oh, yesterday's video said, Shalom. Ah, yes, shadow of Zion. Shalom to you. Peace be with you, sir or ma'am. So, people sit there and they say, well, what's going to happen to us? Look, I've been stockpiling for months, if not years. Even the moderator Zoe knows this. And yet Zoe says, I know where to go if there's a nuclear disaster. You see? The point is all these people, they couldn't even prep. Yeah. And yet, people are buying stuff, and this is where preppers need to prep. You sit there and you say, well, how do I cut corners? Well, I wonder how these new light bulbs are going to affect the electric bill. Oh, so, anyways, let's get to the notes, okay? So it says here, the constitutional power of the purse has failed. Yes, but then I said, so basically there's a two-pronged approach. Two-pronged approach. One, hold on a second, people. Out of the video. There, got an itch, and I don't want you guys seeing it. Okay, there we go. It's only polite. First rule of thumb. First big attack. Cuts were already made on the big, beautiful, ugly bill, as they call it, right? The big, ugly bill, right? And that was right there. The big, ugly bill basically cut snap cuts for the next decade of hundreds of billions. It was like $900 billion, not including Medicaid and Medicare cuts. So, leaves Medicare alone. Medicare is already a crappy service, so guess what happens? Medicare is a crappy service, and because of it, they're just like, we're leaving it alone. But Medicaid has been cut, and food stamps. We'll get to the reasons why. But, you guys sit there, and people say, but, let me put it this way. I get $24 a month. Do you think I'm complaining? What did I do? I've stocked my freezers. My freezers are overflowing right now. I'm making one meal a day because, well, we don't know what's going to happen. Instead of buying the big primo beef I usually do every Thanksgiving, I was thinking, maybe I can get a deal on a couple little chickens. My mom did one Thanksgiving. We were grateful we had the little chickens. But a lot of you people, you think you need to be grateful for the turkey. I mean, look, food banks are stressing. Oh, yeah, that brings me back to food banks in a minute. Anyways, Let's see. The unconstitutional point. Let's see what Shalom had to say. Peace and be with you, sir. Have you also noticed since November 1st, when EBT was not going to get filled, the Walmart food prices dropped a bit? Yes, but I've also realized that there's a lot of different other items, Zion, that literally went down in price too, and I'll get to that in a minute. And that's something I am an expert on, is pricing throughout. So, the refusal of Congress to fund the government, combined with the executive branch to ignore the judicial branch, is why we have the 12 appropriation bills in limbo. They don't want to pass it. But, are you ready for the other problem? Remember I said it's a two-pronged approach. The one reason everyone is yelling and screaming that food stamps and stuff's been cut is because they don't want to release the Epstein files and the 218th member. I don't care about Epstein. I really don't. What I care about is the American people and them going hungry. But I kept telling you guys for months, people that email me, the fake prepper doesn't know what she's talking about. Now look who's talking. I got 3 months supply of a year supply of bar soaps for $12. Wow, $12. Well, can you beat that? Wow, I bet you guys can't. You'd be like, oh, $12 could go for food. Yeah, but you also got to be clean, otherwise you get sick from diseases. Yeah. So, next up is a lot of people are asking about HUD. Okay, HUD in the USDA housing, the subsidized housing. They're in the 12 appropriation bills. Without it, yeah, that's on the chopping block too, people. Has anyone ever thought about that? No? Wow, that's amazing. So while Mr. and Mrs. Shadow of Zion comes in about prices going down a bit. And by the way, Shadow, I want to say thank you for bringing that to my attention. I do want to say that in my last video I did mention, and I'll mention it here, the prices went down because the stores aren't jacking up the prices because the U.S. taxpayers are subsidizing grocery stores. They're subsidizing grocery stores. They're subsidizing healthcare. They're subsidizing housing. Think about it. Without the $9 billion a year, or $108 billion a year, $9 billion a month, or $108 billion a year, grocery stores are now going to have to come up with firing employees because they brought in enough employees to counter the food stamp thingy. And that means grocery stores are going to be cutting corners too, which, remember in yesterday's video, one of the subscribers or people that came across my channel was like, you can't cut corners. Of course the grocery stores can. You see, I already order a lot of stuff online. So, anyways, let's get down to it because I'm really so. Basically, the critical housing programs for the HUD is under the in the appropriations bill. USDA's housing, rural assistance, rural development is embedded with the farmers and the agriculture bill. Yeah, see, I asked AI before doing this video. So that means right now the 12 appropriation bills, they're all basically stonewalled. Yeah. So, so it says right here, the food stamps, SNAP, EBT, aka food stamps, aka SNAP, aka EBT, funded through the same agricultural appropriation bill. Go look it up. 2. Rural housing, section 515 and 521 and 502, funded through the same agricultural appropriate bill. So without an agricultural appropriate bill, I'll tell you what is going on now. So, when I asked about the 12 continuing resolution bills, I asked the AI specifically to calibrate it and add it to theories on Project 2025, and it came up with, this means zero funding and appropriate discretionary spending. Ding, 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 ding. The USDA Rural Housing Program and the Agricultural Bill stops new funding. So, new funding and new loans will be stopped. So they fire half the USDA's housing department because they're not going to fund new housing for you guys. The SNAP, food benefits, food stamps, EBT, and other food security measures in the same bill face disruptions and uncertainties, right? Then it says, how do we cross-check it with with these 3 appropriation bills with Project 2025? This is what I love to do on my spare time besides play farming games. Agricultural bill focuses primarily on eliminating restructuring HUD. But the overall push is to shrink the federal safety nets of this by the USDA housing and the agriculture bill. HUD, SNAP, food benefits, advocates for significant changes. Ding, 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 changes. Including expanding work requirements. I already did that. To older Americans up to age 65. Oh, I gotta say this. Sorry, Brother Ted, you're going to have to go to work again for your food stamps. Either you get your measly peanut SSI check or you just take away, right? Restricting state waivers for worker requirements. Wow. And eliminating categorical eligibility, which caused many lose benefits. So, basically, they want to gut 95% of your food stamps because of it. See? And you wonder why the second possible reason is. Shall I continue? I bet you Shadows of Zion's like, yes, please continue with the third one. HUD housing. Calls for dismantling and radically restructuring HUD. Selling all public housing to private developers and enacting all work requirements and time limits with Section 8 housing vouchers. Wow. The connections. Reducing the federal workforce, issuing reduction in force RIF notices, advanced policy goals, and the shutdown itself is the weapon, and the lack of the 12 appropriation bills is why they're doing it. Yes. Now, on to the food bank question. So, most commercial food banks are privately funded. So, think about that. Government-backed programs, indirect funding, SBA loans, mortgage loans, TARPs, and bailouts. Public banks, the exception. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. No. Is food banks funded by the U.S. government? See, that's the last question I had. Yeah, let's see. Because that one they were saying, One, government funding is critical support. The Emergency Food Assistance Program, TFAP, the most direct link to the federal government, uses TFAP funds, like canned goods, meats, and produce. And second is WIC. Private funding, the majority of operations, donations, state, local government funding. So, basically, it's a combination of a trifecta, it says here. But federal government, if they cut that out, that means the states can have to pick up. And state and private operations. If people are seeing the money go down the toilet, let me look up something real quick without you guys knowing. So, what do you guys think? So, this is why they're dismantling things. I'm going to say it, a lot of people think that they're entitled to benefits. I mean, literally. I know a guy who's basically 70 years old that thinks he's entitled to everything. I wanted to check on something because Chloe was asking me a question the other day, and I was like, I'll tell you, I was asking, here we go. Yes. I may have to call about that. How much is it? Oh, $18. I'm going to have to tell Chloe that because Chloe was asking me a question earlier about that. But anyways. So my adopted brother Ted wants to so he's literally sitting there, okay, he emailed me, right? I'm trying to do a video for you guys, and he had to brag, okay? He said, his prepping paid off. Maybe. Thing is, my prepping's paid off pretty well, too, so I'm not going to brag. But, point is, he claims he's got a food stamp balance of, and yet, I wanted to tell you, even if he's got a food stamp balance, he better check to see if his card can be used, because Chloe tried to use her card on Amazon this morning for groceries, and it said not working. So when we checked into it through Amazon, they claimed through Chloe, of course, that the card's been frozen. So all funds have been frozen, apparently. So he's sending a thing saying his balance, X amount, cash is 0, no pending balances right now. And he's like, instead of stacking it all in my basement pantry, I have a balance for fresh food that's not expired. Yes, but rumor has it the government is. So, the thing is he may, but, yeah. Yeah, so, anyways, I'll look at this in a minute, thanks to my adopted brother sending me links to B-Link. But anyways, I need to make a phone call anyways eventually, because I'm going to go and talk to Chloe about ordering some coffee soon. So, because, if I don't get my coffee till Tuesday, she's coming in on Monday. She can bring me some as an emergency. See, that's why Chloe's comes in handy in many ways. So, food banks are trifectively funded. So, you're now understanding the real two reasons they won't open the government is Epstein and John Vaught. Apparently, I can't confirm this, wants to shut down the government and cut up all the programs that are non-deemed official. And then he wants to turn around, apparently, and get rid of all the illegals, which I have not seen any illegals yet in this country. But then again, I hear people with residency cards and people that are brown-skinned and white-skinned and black-skinned and all these nice people, and, they have their own lives. And yet, you turn around and you hear them, oh, those people are right. So, a lot of people are saying, and a lot of people are saying, well, why is the African Americans not fighting? I know a couple African Americans, and they will not pick up and stand because this is, they claim this is white man's problem. White man brought it upon it themselves. White man's going to bring them down. So, they're not going to revolt so they don't get martial law or the Insurrection Act. That's why they're not doing anything. Need more coffee. But the point is we have to survive. So my point is my adopted brother, he's like, oh, well, look at this, I got food banks, yeah. Well, guess what? My freezer is full, okay? And when we need more, we'll just buy a couple heads of lambs. That's it. Now, again, Shadow of Zion. Yes, I love lamb. Lamb's tasty. But the point is now Shadow of Zion's probably still waiting for the third reason, or the thing about food pricing. Now, I'm going to go through a couple food pricing things for you guys on my Amazon, because I'm being generous today. And I want to tell you about Amazon, okay? Now, apparently we buy all our wheat from Amazon, right? We buy all our wheat from Amazon. Now, let me tell you what's going on with Amazon and wheat pricing and stuff. Or we buy it from like Ukraine or something. The other rumor is they want the farmers to fail so they can turn around and start to have state-funded farms, which would mean communism. But that's what I've heard, or the billionaires just buy it all up. And if you remember the billionaires buying it up, that means the Bible thing. So let's continue. So I want to tell you a story. So I just bought some Alfredo sauce recently, right? It went from $2 a jar to $6 a jar for prepped stuff. Yeah, candy went down in price, by the way. People are like, well, do you really need candy? I'll explain later. Coffee, if you get coffee that's brewed and roasted here, you can probably get away with it cheaper. So, but the Alfredo sauce, and then I bought cases and cases of overstuffed raviolis. Now, for ramens, I get ramen cups, the instant lunches and the cups. And they were $5.46 a case. They just went up. My usual ramen, my 24-pack, went from $5 to $13. Other ramens is cheap. Like if you want to just live on basic chicken, which we'll check the chicken price and beef price for you. But everything else has gone up in price. Paper towels are going up. And then Amazon, of course, as I said in yesterday's video, they're literally limiting you on your food. They're literally turning around and saying, look, you can't buy more than 10 cans of our Amazon brand soup because there's other people that need it. This is your monthly supply. So 10 cans. So you get it for, say, $5. which was 50 cents at the time. You turn around and you buy 10 cans of each flavor, and then as soon as they give it to you, they raise it to 70 cents. You say, okay, I'll pay the 70 cents. Then when you try to do it again, they're like, nope, you got your limit. So they're literally limiting you. Now, prices have not gone down that much. I've been pricing out everything I buy, and usually it's going up. Why? Because prices are going up. Now, let me tell you about Best Buy. Best Buy is hurting so bad that they raised the prices on basic items you can still get on Amazon. And they're claiming, oh, well, that's the tariffs, really. But every other store is selling it for $300 cheaper. Oh, that's until they run out. And then I email the companies, and they're like, no, that's the going price. So then you turn around, and then Best Buy has to confide that if this is a hot cake item, they can't keep in. So now the scalpers are trying to make a profit on it. Yeah. So let's go look up chicken ramen real quick. So chicken ramen currently is top Nissan, right? The Nissan is $6.98. Everyone likes Mary Yu Chan apparently, right? Mary Yu Chan is currently, here we go, let's see, $6.98 for a case of top ramen. It is $7.88 for beef, right? $14.99 for chili. $13.99 for shrimp, and $18.96 for soy sauce, or the old Oriental. Now for Mary Yu Chan, chicken ramen, $15.09 for beef, $15.09 for chicken, $9.12 for creamy chicken. That's a little cheaper, but usually it's $5. Roast beef is $21 a case. Soy sauce $9.12. That's old Oriental. Fire spicy beef. That's like an 8-pack they give you. It's like stir-fry noodles. $11 for 8 of them. Less sodium beef, again, $15. Spicy chicken, spicy noodles, and spicy chicken flavored and spicy chicken noodles, whatever. Saucy noodles and saucy nudes, that's what they call them. They're like eight of them for like $20, so nearly $17.80. So the bottom line is a lot of people say, that's where you got to monitor your food bank, and basically so you got to monitor your food bank intake, and that's why people are sitting there wondering what's going to happen in the future. And to me, I think it's pretty dang interesting to see that. 2:17. So did the clocks go back an hour? Hold on, let me see something last night. Hey, did they just do changeover at clocks? 2:18. Alright, so apparently I'm the only one that last noticed that my clock in my kitchen is not the right time. Well, anyway, so the bottom line is, people, that the bottom line is these are reasons why we were prepping, right? Now, my adopted brother likes to brag. Thing is, he shouldn't brag, because that may be all his benefit balance for the next 6 or 8 months. He's like, oh, I'm not worried. The government will retro pay. What if they turn around and they take it out of the 12 appropriation bills? This is what they want to do. They want to axe it. I mean, literally, there's family members I have. By the way, I want to see how these cheese balls taste. They look pretty tasty. Anyways, now, just like when I was a kid. Not bad. My husband and I used to eat these all the time. Alright, so. Alright, so basically, the American people are literally got some problems, okay? They're relying on the government too much. First of all, they're not self-sufficient. And two is they're always thinking, well, I get food stamps and I go to the food bank and, I can afford the new items, right? So the government funds the food banks. The government funds the food stamps. The government funds, right? And then all of a sudden, what happens? The government is told by companies like Apple and Android that, right now, that would be a good question to ask. Let's ask that question. Is the Obama phones going to be shut down with the government shutdown? Most likely, they're not going to take any new enrollments, but point is it's government shut down, so I don't know how that works. Let's see. So it goes like this. Very timely how it works. Lifeline is not funded by annual appropriation. It is sustained by fees. Generally not at risk. So your phone's not at risk. Hold on. Yes, but also the requirements are quote unquote funded by things if you have like food stamps, government assistance, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, Indian funds. So why don't you basically throw that in a blender, tell me what we're missing. So basically this will tell us through AI literally what we're missing on the appropriations bills, because they're saying the phone service should be fine. But how is it fine if, key programs are missing. The blender, 135 under the poverty. I would like to know if the government's shutting down the phone services. You see, that's the other thing. A lot of people have been emailing saying, hey, what's going on with the government food, the food thingy. And I don't know. I really don't. You see, without emergency money, a lot of government housing is going to be shut down. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So, it is safe. But, it's the qualifiers. So, if you want a new phone or you want to change phones or whatever. But, then again, you see how the government's subsidizing everything, right? They turn around and they're like, so, as what's his name? Shadow of Zion said, that the Shadow of Zion, like I said, was talking about food pricing. Well, we'll run over to Walmart because I have a program where I can view everything I've bought in the past, and it'll tell me if it's up or down. Yeah, there's a thing here. So you go over to purchase history, right? And it'll tell you, did it go up or did it go down? Yeah. Okay. So here we go. View details. Right. Or there's a program that says reorder, right? Let's just go to the reorder button. Here we go. So, alright, so everything currently on this list has pretty much stayed the same except for that. That was a rollback down. Everything else is the same price. Yeah, so that was down a bit. That's a rollback. that went up in price. Yeah. Those went up in price. So there you go. Those went up in price. Yeah. So there you have it. So everything here has gone up in price except for a few things. Pringles is still down in price, but you get the idea. It also tells you when you go into the store and your card's on file, it tells you exactly what you bought. Oh, so that's what she was talking about. Look at these. Yeah, so I was looking at that. Oh, I see. Yes. So apparently they got these new blades that Chloe was talking about. I see what she was talking about, yeah. So, anywho, yeah, that's what it is. So it shows right there. So, and then adopted brother Ted message again. Going to get his free chicken dinner at his mom's house. Yeah, see, that's great. So, you know, even someone who's penny pinching goes over to his mom's house to get a free meal. Yeah. I mean, in this day and age, why not, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. So the government, of course, they don't need to know that, you know, because it'd be wrong to say, yeah. And so, now, where were we? So, the food stamp pretty much problem is it gone away? Well, depends. Depends on if the government basically reissues an answer by Monday to the appellate court. The appellate court will say something like, yeah, it's unconstitutional because it's in the 12 appropriation bills, which means food stamps are gutted. Then they could turn around and send it up, and the people could apply, the states could apply it to the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court could say, hey, Congress has the power of the purse. If that's the case, and Congress does have the power of the purse, they could turn around, basically. See, here's what a lot of people are saying, okay, and this is just hypothetically. They're saying that the President of the United States wants to basically dissolve Congress and the Senate because they're useless. They can't get along, and they can't pass bills. And so he's saying you either give the nuclear option, which is wrong, or you basically keep the government shut down. If the government shut down, he's going to sit there and say, well, look, Congress is broken. I have to control the purse strings because, you know, because of it. And a lot of people in Chloe's orbit and other orbits are all saying it's like kleptocracy. You know, they're trying to steal everything they can before the elections comes up, which is a hypothetical. But I'm not here to do hypotheticals. I'm here to say, why isn't your food stamps revised? Well, because you guys are all basically not self-sufficient, relying on the government. The government gives you food stamps every month. Why should you even basically need to go to the store? But now the stores are basically sitting there thinking, well, if the food stamps aren't reimbursed. By the way, I think the courts did the wrong thing under this. I think it was two Obama or Biden appointees. They literally said, you got to fund it? Yeah. The thing is, we don't have to fund anything. The government is shut down. What should we fund? We shouldn't be funding something. But then again, you got my adopted brother going, oh, yeah, I got money I saved up and I scrounged. You know, that's because he's got a tiny freezer. And, you know, the thing is and he's Mr. Frugal anyways. I mean, literally. But then when it comes to certain things, he'd be like, oh, well, I mean, literally. I told him to get to work on a project, and he just gave me 2 links and said, help at it, have at it. Right, thanks. Have at it. So the bottom line is look around when it comes to these pricings. And some of them are going up, some of them are going down, but a lot of them are basically unhappy. I mean, literally, a lot of them is unhappy because of the fact that, people are seeing what's going on. I mean, literally, I mean, a lot of people are sitting there, right? I know family members that are sitting around going, "We did this to own the libs." Well, how's it feel when I mean, I have family. I got 2 family members that work in the medical field. They literally are the ones that you call to talk to about insurances, right? What happens if they lose their job? Oh, well, we'll just find another job. Really? In this economy, jobs are getting harder and harder, and with people getting up there in age, they want younger people, and then when the younger people can't work, they'll just throw them into a whatever, and then retire them. They'll be like, "Sorry, you're retired." You see? Point is the American people need to realize that this isn't about people freeloading. No, it's more about other issues. I mean, literally, it's like waking up in the morning, and being happy you're alive. I mean, literally, a lot of people sit there, and the thing is this is the time to prep, and a lot of people didn't. They sit there and they say, "Oh, well, I get my food stamps. I go to the food bank. The government. There's all these handouts and programs. I'm good, right?" All of a sudden, it's not there for them. I got people in where I live in this area. They're contacting me. They're like, "What's going to happen?" Not my problem. You guys sit there and you claim that the latest and greatest iPhone or Android phone's more important, and this is the thing the government turned around and tried to teach you. Maybe Donald Trump's trying to teach you guys self-sufficiency or some values, but the point is the American people turn around and say, "Well, this person didn't say values." No, I'm talking about the country, and the Republicans and the Democrats all got their hands dirty by basically giving all these handouts to people. I mean, literally, how many times have you heard the government turn around and say, Rita's got a government phone. It's a flip phone. We need to ban flip phones. They're harder to track. We need everyone to have a smartphone. Some people in their 60s, 70s, or 80s, they just need a basic phone. By the way, car phones in the bags, those are the basic phones back in the day. Then they had the brick phones. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it's simple. You just power it up, dial a number, make a phone call, be done with it." Of course, it was like $1 or $2 a minute back then. And then it dropped in price with every more people wanted mobile phones. And back then they said, "Oh, the mobile phones cost cancer." Yeah, now that went away because they, now they're saying going into a MRI machine or a CT machine will give you cancer. I mean, the thing is all these people are glued to their phones, and yet they're like, "Oh, well, we'll get back payment." Yeah, but the thing is, you shouldn't be relying on the government to pay you your food benefits. I mean, literally. I mean, there's elderly there that sit around and they're like, "Well, I'm not worried." Well, you know what? There's a lot of elderly worried. My uncle and aunt, they're disabled. They're worried their food stamps. Now the food stamps are gone. How do you fix the food stamp problem? You don't. You sit there and say the food stamp problem is not fixed. Negative food stamp problem. Food stamp problem is not fixed. Then what? Then what happens when the food stamp problem isn't fixed? Then what? I mean, think about it, people. Think about it. People are relying too much. And then you guys turn around, you watch it. There's 2 reasons why I said possibly that it went down the toilet. One is Epstein. They don't want Epstein to be released because if they do, they show the entire world that, well, our president may be a pedophile, which is something I don't want to hear or see, right? I mean, we got to have a governed country, right? And then I see all these memes that for Halloween, they didn't have to do much with the face because apparently Stephen Miller looks like Count Dracula. Okay, cool, whatever. And then there's other crap. But the thing is, I try to avoid the news cycles because people sit there and they email me, "Oh yeah, you don't know anything." And all of a sudden, month 2 starts, government shutdown, no end in sight, and you got the Democrats saying, "Well, we need to help for health care because people's health care." Really? If a family of 4 is making like $90,000 to $100,000 a year, and their insurance went from $56 a month by Eric Swalwell's own opinion to $356. I don't think a $300 drop for the year is fine, but apparently in his opinion, we're there to fix healthcare. Really? I mean, if it was me, I would basically be saying, I'm not paying $300, but you get the point, okay? Point is what do we get for healthcare? Nothing. I mean, Medicare is basically shot. You got to go in and you have to wait 8 weeks for them to approve it. And then one doctor turned around and said, oh, you want to see, you have all these feet problems? Well, we can't see you. It's going to be $895 per session. And since you have Medicare, we're not helping you. So I said, what if I had full insurance coverage? We'd help you. You see, it's all about the money. Some doctors, they only get into doctoring for money. And then when they can't get the money, they say the hell with you. So they wait a week and then tell you no. So why do you think I have health issues? Fortunately, my point is we're here today to talk about not my health issues, but the point is the American people are turning around and running. They're running away. They're like, we are done. We are done, and we are done. And we are done, and yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the point is, yeah, hold on. So anyways, I had to send a picture of my dog. So the bottom line is the American people didn't prep. That's the thing, they didn't prep. And then they sit there and say, oh, we can't afford things without the government's help. Yeah, that's the thing. So when you rely on food stamps, and you rely on the food bank, and you rely on, by the way, let's just ask the AI another question. I want to know something just out of curiosity for this sake of argument, because we're not done yet. Could you tell me out of curiosity if the lie heap has been shut down too, and the government shut down? Ooh, cheese ball. None of these. Alright, so another good program to just talk about now is LIHEAP, the Low Income Housing Assistance Program. I think that's how it is, right? Low income heating assistance program. Anyways, the heat program that LIHEAP provides is currently delayed and suspended till the government opens. Yes. So apparently the emergency fund depletion in some states have already depleted themselves. Yeah. So does not exist for LIHEAP, the Low Income Housing Energy Assistance Program. So there you go. So there you have it. So that program gone. What happens to people? They say, oh, well, that's great, we don't need to pay. See, the Republicans are turning around and they're basically sitting there, right? And the Republicans in Congress and the Senate and the Democrats are fighting for health care. Now, food stamps, right? Meanwhile, they're waiting for LIHEAP to be cut, and people come to them and say, hey, LIHEAP's been cut, right? Meanwhile, any government program that assists the humans, it's going to basically blow up in the Republicans' face. However, a lot of Republicans out there don't want to pay for disabled people. They think disabled people are freeloaders and that disabled people should have been taken care of by the family members. And if the family members don't want to take care of them, well, Put them in a gas chamber or lethal injection them and get them out. They're worthless eaters. They're just taking away our taxpayers. So to them, they're just taking away taxpayer money. Now, and so what happens? This is what happens. So they're all bitter. They're like, look, we go to work every day. They get to sit on their butt. They get to do YouTube. They get to drink coffee, eat cheese balls. They live in government housing. They have a free cell phone. Yeah, but as a prepper, people sit there and say, oh, well, a prepper wouldn't do this. A prepper would do this because, you see, you can learn a lot from a disabled person or an elderly person because a lot of these people in the world, they go out of their way and they spend frivolously. And the values you can learn today could save you a lot of money tomorrow. And that is because frivolously. I mean, think about it. In this day and age, you go online, right? You play a game. You find out that game has eventually been loaded to another system, say the computer. You go and buy the computer and you say, oh, the computer's faster because the load times are faster. You still enjoy the same game, but do you really need the load times to be faster and you're giving the company more money? Well, that's your business, right? But in this day and age, you got to ask yourself, how much are you willing to pay and how much money are you willing to pull back? I mean, literally. In this day and age, I tried to tell Chloe a story about purchasing a laptop, right? Now, you probably are sitting there going, yeah, okay, whatever. No, she wants a gaming laptop, right? It's like $550 to $800 more if you get the Ryzen 9. Fortunately, that's what she wants, right? She's like, well, my computer's almost 6 years old. Yes, but you've been homeless for 3 years. You can buy it outright, but is it really worth buying a new computer? Think about it. I mean, literally. A laptop was designed, quote unquote, people, to take with you places. And as long as you could upgrade and change the battery, you can make it last a year, 2 years more, 3 years more. Depending, as long as the hinges don't break and stuff, right? A lot of people, they sit there and say, oh, look at Microsoft. They turn around and they do an end of service life and or a death life of their systems. They're like, oh, your kids say we can't help you. You got to buy a new computer and new Windows. And then they're forcing you. Eventually, Americans are going to turn around and say, look, we may be going to a depression. So how many people in the Great Depression is going to sit there and be on the internet? You're going to see the Great Depression lose internet. They're going to lose phone service. They're going to lose light service. They're going to be living on basics if they do have a job. I mean, literally, the people sit there. The agricultural lady, what's her name? I can't remember her name. The lady that's in charge of the USDA. Let me ask the AI that one because I want to make sure I get this right because of the lady that runs the USDA. What's her name? Brooke Rollins said, well, when we get rid of the illegals, this was apparently what she said. It was on one of those press thingies. You can go look for it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not fact-checking it. Basically said the elderly and the disabled can get off their lazy butt even if they're 80 years old to work in the fields, picking cotton or fruits and vegetables to survive for the young people because the illegals or the brown people need to go away. I'm sorry, but I don't think my Grandma Evelyn and Grandpa Fred's got a walker. They'd probably just put him down and say he's not even worth it anymore. Or Grandma Evelyn, which is she's in her 90s. She's still alive. Last time I checked, she's still alive. Grandma Evelyn is still alive. And yet, the American people turn around and they, quote unquote, the American people turn around. And what happens? Yeah, they want people like her to work. 90 years old, working in her retirement years. Yeah. It'd be like telling my adopted dad, Roy, he's got to go back to work. He may have a lot of health issues. Oh, sorry, we have to put you back to work because the brown people aren't picking up their worth and stuff. I'm sorry, but that is just downright wrong to put elderly people there. I mean, these people, the people that, I mean, literally, I'd like to see the numbers, really, because I don't think, going and deporting people is right. But anywho, it goes like this. So, then you have my adopted friend, like a dad, owns a boat. You want him to basically bust his back at 70 years old, driving a bus again, busing people into the fields because, well, that's what he should be doing. I'm sorry, but that's just downright wrong. Literally, have someone say that. And then our beef prices are so high, and then they're like, oh, we're going to import our beef from Argentinian. But right now, Walmart brings in a lot of their beef from Brazil. And Costco brings in a lot of their beef from Canada. But it's still not cheap. And yet the farmers are like, we're having cow problems. Right. So that's why you change over to chicken. If you can't buy beef because there's a beef shortage and no one wants to pay the beef price because beef keeps going through the roof, buy chicken. If that goes through the roof, buy pork. If that goes through the roof, buy lamb. If that you can't stand lamb, well, then go buy yourself several cases of Spam every month and eat that unless you don't like it. You see, there's always an alternative. Unfortunately, these preppers out there, like me, they know the alternatives. These other people, they rely on the government so much, and now they're all in panic mode. Day 2 of the food stamp debacle down, and they're hoping the government reissues it because they're like, oh yeah, without food, we can't eat. I saw so many comments in some of these left-wing last night, again, that turned around, and they literally stated, get a job, you lazy bum. Quit freeloading. I have a lot of heart issues. Now, a lot of people say, well, the cheese balls ain't going to do me any good. Well, let's just say I haven't had cheese balls in like 15 years, okay? And I always passed them up when I was at Walmart, so this time around I figure it'll be a little snack, right? It's a little snacky here and there. Fortunately, that's fine by me, right? But the main thing is the American people need to realize that, we have to be frugal. Literally, we have to literally be frugal. Frugal McDougal. The point is we're not out of the woods yet. When this gets to next year, that's 3 more years. And as I keep telling my father-in-law, 3 more years of heck. 3 more years of heck. And that heck is, well, problematic because all these people are sitting there saying, well, let me put it this way. All right? I'm not going to go and sit here and say, the Republican Party's crap or the Republican Party's garbage. No. What I'm going to say is they're both garbage. They can't come together. They can't come together because they don't want to come together. They want to sit there and say that the constituents voted for this. 75 million people voted to get rid of your health care. 75 million voted to get rid of your food stamps. Now, you guys sit there and say, oh, well, I didn't. Yeah, half of you didn't get off the couch to vote because you were like, you didn't want a woman as president, but you didn't want a man as a president either. So you just sat there. So let's just say out of 340 million people, 150 million voted. That would mean about, 190 million people, give or take, that aren't under 18 didn't get off their butt. So let's just say 35 to 70 million people stayed home. Come on, man. You can't blame this guy for sitting there going, well, we had an overwhelming mandate. And then you hear the other party say, oh, well, it was stolen. The election was stolen. No, it wasn't. It wasn't stolen. You guys want to say it was stolen, that's your business. I don't. What I'm saying is look at the food stamps, the theories. A lot of people are saying, well, the reason is Epstein. Well, maybe. Maybe not. It's all theory. I'm not going to sit here and say it's theory or theoretical. I'm not giving false. I'm not giving, what do they call that? misinformation. I'm just saying these are theories. Now, the second theory is Project 2025. Yeah, could be. I mean, I hear Chloe all the time. Oh, well, did they implement it? Yes, they did. We don't know how much of it, but they did. A lot of people are pissed about it. Think about it. A lot of people back in the day. My aunt, who's a Republican, goes, the worst thing in the world was the greatest deal ever done, stolen was the Great New Deal, Social Security. Really? Then if you don't like Social Security, why don't we just take it away from you, give it to someone else that needs it? The problem solved. You think it's a bad idea? Everyone who's sitting there collecting Social Security says Social Security was the biggest scam in the world. Then give it up and let the other people that rely on it keep it. That'll keep the peace, and you can go live in the bread line, under a building or under a bridge, under a tent because of it. I mean, my adopted brother Ted goes, oh, well, I paid into Social Security, it's mine. Yes, it is yours. Of course, Ted's a bit of a different bird of a different feather, but you get the idea. So the point is the American people turn around and they think they're entitled. The guy 2 doors down thinks he's entitled. Oh, I'm entitled, only work 4 years, go to school for 6 years, do 4 years work, and then we're all entitled to retire. No, we're not. That's considered communism or socialism. Socialism. I mean, literally, the socialistic communism country cannot support itself. And with the things going the way it is, I mean, literally, the American people sit there. The people that have common sense, they're like, why are we voting for a guy who claims he's for peace, and yet we're going to be bombing Nigeria? I still can't figure that one out. Yeah, I mean, literally, maybe Nigeria has drugs. I mean, I had to ask AI about the invasion of Venezuela. Drugs. Argentina. Yeah, whatever, right? Venezuela, right? So, I think if they're going to war, hypothetically, and it's just a theory I have, it's nothing concrete, it's about oil. Because apparently Venezuela is the biggest reserve carrier of oil in the world. No, that's what I think. But then again, what do I know, right? My Sister Pee Wee would say, what do you know? Yeah, well, I love Sister Pee Wee dearly too. But unless, I mean, you got these people turning around, right? And I remember playing a video game a long time ago. It was about World War III starting. How did it start? Over oil. The reserve oils were gone, and certain countries had oil and the rest didn't. And you know what happened with the rest? I'll tell you what happened. The rest in the game, basically, the story goes from what I remember is there was a big, big deficit of funds, right? And we're talking about people. The people sat there and they thought driving a gas guzzling motorhome, for example, right? Big old motorhome, where they're getting like 2 miles to gallon, fully loaded with all the weight, right? Was their God-given right? Because they have to have the best. Fortunately, eventually, Americans turned around and they're like, well, the price of gas is too high, so they kept cutting it back, right? Well, think of boat owners. Only the wealthy can afford a boat. Now, the guy I know owned a boat. He bought a boat with it's a hybrid. It's a sailboat and a motor yacht, basically, or motor cruiser. Anyway, point is it takes 100 gallons of diesel. That's $600+ just to tank it up. So if he could basically leave the harbor with diesel, come back on diesel, and you sail the rest of the time, he's fine. Fortunately, there's a lot of people out there that sit there and they own boats, but they can't use them because the price of diesel's too high. And so think about it. All these people, they have to downsize. I was just doing a research project the other night about my stepdad. I haven't talked to him. I wrote a letter out. I'm getting ready to send it to him. Extend the olive branch. And anyways, one of the things is he had 2 houses, right? So I had to do some research. I love my dad dearly. He knows this. We just don't see eye to eye because of who I am. But anyways, dear old stepdad, took care of me over the years. I love him dearly. He had 2 houses. Property taxes, from what I can gather, both houses were. I used to live at one house. One house is like $8,000 a year. The other house was over $4,000 a year. So 2 houses combined with him and his wife's retirements, $12,000 a year. So he'd have to have family living with him just to make up the tax difference. And so, you know, he had like trailer slab and he had a fifth wheel slab in the main house. And he, you know, and I mean, it was just, and then, you know, he built what he needed. But the thing is it was a long time ago. A long time ago. And he still has that house. So I know I can just mail him a letter and see if it comes back to me or not. But I love him dearly. And, you know, it's beautiful that you know, that some people, and he was almost 80, so you can understand he had to cut corners. But still, and there's people out there that are set in their ways at their age, you know. Yeah, I mean, I found his new house that he built 18 years ago. He had to leave after 18 years, 10 months. Could be dementia, could be Alzheimer's, could be a heart attack, whatever. Thing is, he had to give up his retirement home. That tells you right there. Someone which I knew was the guy that literally turned around people and only bought what was needed. He never bought anything that this is how he was raised. You bought what was needed. You don't buy anything, and you be frugal. And you sustain yourself by buying what is needed. These days, people sit there and they buy things that they don't need. They turn around and they buy a new Android phone. Oh, Samsung's got a new phone. Top of the line Samsung Note phone, for example, $2,000. People are like, yes. Whereas then they say, well, look at me. I got this $2,000 plus Samsung phone. I think it's Samsung. I can always ask real quick, you know. But people sit there and they think they need it, you know. Just out of nosiness, what is the top of the line Samsung phone with one of those styluses? How much are they going for out the door without a plan? You see, this phone, $25 out the door. $25 comes with a pen, see? I have to pay $65 a month. That's where you could cut corners, but the point is a flip phone would be better suited for me, so. Alright, so for 256 Galaxy S25 unlocked, you're looking at 256 gigs, $1,300. 512 gig unlocked is $1,420, and then a 1 terabyte model is nearly $1,700. Think about that. And all these people, they're always saying they need the newest and greatest phone, and they get their updates, and they're like, we get the latest. And yet, what do you say? $25 out the door? This was the last model, by the way, at Walmart. $25, brand new. Now my phone is running, and $65 a month, unlimited data, wires, whatever, right? I could downsize. Heck, I've downsized almost all my streaming services to either Roku or Tubi. And Disney, because they give me free Disney with my phone. Which, I enjoy a good Disney movie from time to time, yeah. Usually it's the Three Caballeros, but you get the idea, right? Point is the American people need to realize that you have to cut corners. I mean, if you guys basically sit there and think, well, I get free food stamps and free Medicaid and free everything, and I don't have to worry, and all of a sudden, lo and behold, the government turns around and cuts off your food stamps, what's going to happen? You're going to have to make decisions. Instead, you won't. You're like, well, I need my Hulu and Netflix. Well, that's where I used to have certain TV shows on Hulu and Netflix. What happened? I bought them in box sets. Box sets! Now I can just put them in my DVD player. One-time purchase. Until the DVD player fails. And then you get another, another DVD player. Yeah. And so, you know, one-time purchase, entertainment. Your discs may once in a while get ruined or scratched, but, you know, it's a benefit to do it this way because, frankly, it is what it is. So, I mean, think about it from my perspective, people. I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of you guys are relying on it, and now that it's gone, you're like, oh, what do we do? That's because you get food stamps. You're not thinking about the other repercussions. The other repercussions is grocery stores. Some of them could go bankrupt, or they're going to cut their staffing by half or 3/4 due to the fact that they can't afford it. And then all of a sudden what happens? Yeah, the grocery store is closed. Or nearly hanging on a thread because they were relying on food stamps. No food stamps means now they got to cut corners and jobs are going to be open. And out here on an island, that's going to be interesting when they cut it out and the government sits there and says, no, we're not going to open up because we don't want hypothetically Epstein released, or we want to complete Project 2025 for Russ Vought, or Russell Vought, or whoever it is. Hypothetically. So think about it. So meanwhile, food stamps are still, we'll see what happens Monday, tomorrow. If the courts sit there and say, well, it's unconstitutional, yeah, but think about the courts. He basically went to the courts and it'll be national security if the tariffs don't get away. If we get rid of tariffs, thing is, Congress controls the tariffs. They're already basically trying to implement something. And what are they doing? They're like, well, we'll open the government, we'll take away the tariffs. And now they're trying to do their job. The Democrats are like, look, I have Medicare, right? Do you think I care? Well, my adopted brother, Ted, would be like, oh, you need to care more about people on Medicaid. I know several people on Medicaid. Most of them are alcoholics and drug addicts. So should I care? No. Do I want to care? No. Do you think I care? No. Food stamps? Yeah, food stamps is frozen. Am I worried? No. Do I need to worry? No. Will I ever need to worry? No. You see, the thing is, we have to make conscious choices right now. And that is, I'm playing a game, replaying a game. And I've already put in, this game was gifted to me by Chloe a long time ago. And this game is old, but I've put in probably close to 800 hours. So you can see I've got my money, Chloe's money out of it. But I always go back to it when it comes to prepping. And this is where you basically got to be tight and hold your money. Unfortunately, most people don't want to be tight and hold their money. They want to basically sit there and spin. I mean, look. Let's get down to the next part. Let's see, I want to address Shadows at Zion when he says, have you also noticed that first when EBT was not going to get filled, the Walmart food prices dropped a bit? It was Walmart. I was at a Walmart the other day and everything dropped by a noticeable amount. Yeah, I mean, literally. But have you also noticed, Mr. Shadow at Zion, that if you go to Amazon's now going to lay off like up to 600,000 workers because there's no food stamps. But they're also wanting to do it to go automated. And then what's next? Automated drivers, which could, but here's the kicker. When it comes to Target's raised their pricing. Amazon's raised their pricing. Walmart, they may have dropped it, but that's because they're trying to get people in. Fortunately, if they don't lower the pricing, they may go bankrupt. And that could happen because $9 billion a month is shared between every grocery store willing to take food benefits. But they want to basically sit there and say, well, without food benefits, even Amazon gets a big chunk. What happens if Amazon's decides that it's not worth giving 50% off on their Prime or Walmart? Then they lose all their subscribers because they don't want to do half for pricing. Think about it. They're literally sitting there thinking, oh, well, we're subsidizing, taxpayers are subsidizing the grocery stores. Since the food stamps or food banks came in and they started taking food stamps or EBT, I remember, this was a while ago, way back then, that I think it was McDonald's or Burger King. Let me ask AI. I think it was McDonald's or Burger King at one time. They took that away. It was a test. But let me ask. So I remember like 15 years ago plus, there was a thing with EBT or food stamps where they took food stamps and EBT for McDonald's and Burger King. Can you run through a database to confirm or deny it? Literally, I remember it, hubby going in and throwing a fit. They were taking it. So it says here, McDonald's and Burger King still do in certain states. So each state, McDonald's and Burger King accepted EBT if you are elderly, disabled, or homeless. To use the EBT cards to buy hot prepared meals at authorized restaurants. You see? So my husband, so my husband threw a fit at the time because, again, it was wrong. And, now they're still participating in certain states that cover probably huge homeless population, but still. And yet, Chloe turns around and, it was like that would be interesting. But the point is right now, a lot of people are like, oh, well, what are we going to do? You're not going to do anything. You're going to have to take a step back, accept the fact that you don't have food stamps. I mean, think about it. I mean, let me tell you a story, okay? One of my neighbors, never mind who she is. She demands 2 karaoke machines for her grandkids and her kids, Christmas. So I ordered it for her. She paid me. She wanted a TV for herself. I said, oh yeah, Best Buy's got a TV sale going right now. Think about it. This is what I wanted to say earlier. Shadow Zion was probably sitting there chuckling too. You see, when it comes to Best Buy, they're literally, they know food stamps. They're half their employees work and get food stamps. So when their food stamps are sitting there, people, and their food stamps are being cut, Best Buy's answer is, well, technology, we're a technology industry. We're just going to raise the pricing. We're going to raise the pricing. We're going to raise the pricing. Guess what happens? I mean, the other day I was looking up something. Turns out that there was a scalper. Best Buy emailed me this morning and said, no, that's a scalper, after I had to argue with them. And they're like, that's a scalper. Scalpers are like, oh, this is really. So the scalpers are out in force going, oh, we can make a lot of money on these. Well, what happened? Scalpers are sitting there with a stack of inventory going, no one's buying. That's because right now you guys don't need to buy. I mean, well, let me put it this way. Chloe turns around, right? And we got an email the other day. It was, I think it was today, right? Let me see here. I think it was at Walmart. Yeah. Yeah, it was, It was an i5, right? Chloe emailed me and said, oh, did you see this? And I'm going, yeah. So apparently there's this computer Chloe wants, by the way. It's an i5. She says, oh yeah, I want an i5. And I'm like, okay. And brand new. And it's shipped and sold by Walmart, I believe. And it was like $4.99 for it. And she's like, we should have waited. And it's like, we did wait. Fortunately, Chloe didn't wait nearly enough. Yeah, so, for example, Chloe wanted it, and Chloe demanded it, and then, yeah. No. So, hold on. Did we actually have that in the history saved? Because I can't find it. Yeah, no. Could be on my side, but still, I could look. See, I got a lot of tabs always open. Yeah. So. Oh, here it is. Yep, I found it. So it went from $4.99 to $6.19 currently because they're sold out. It says right there. So apparently Amazon's got it went up in price. Yeah. So Yeah, so anyways, they just decided to raise it again, so it fluctuates. So, but Chloe's like, well, we should have had it. It's like, we should have? There's a lot of people out there complaining about technology, and, as a prepper, sometimes you just got to sit back and say, do you really want this? I mean, it's like my order, right? It says not yet shipped, toilet paper, paper towels, coffee, right? And so I'm running on skeleton fumes of coffee, and yet, got more coming in. And so as a prepper, that's one thing I'm worried about, but I can always call in Chloe tomorrow and be like, you're coming in tomorrow, bring me some coffee, she'll do it. So, but the point is, as a prepper, we're literally prepping for everything we need and everything we don't need. And right now, it is a dog-eat-dog world where we have to prep because, we don't know what's going to happen from 1 month to the next. And that, when the people turn around and they say, oh, what are we going to do about our food stamps? Go to the food bank. If the food bank shuts down, then it's a government-funded food bank. Otherwise, you have to turn around and literally basically take it in the shorts. A lot of people like my brother Ted, oh, we'll get back pay. What if they turn around and say, well, reinstate food stamps? Well, we're not doing back pay. I mean, look, how many people in America? There's 42 million. I'd like to see the numbers of who's truly disabled. I have severe heart disease. My head hurts all the time. The disabled, the elderly, the children, the parents of children. I'd like to see the numbers to see how we can basically make it more efficient. I mean, literally, Chloe and I, we were joking about how we both get $24 a month. I mean, literally, $24 a month. That buys what? That buys 4 gallons of milk per month. 4 right now. Milk's like $6 a gallon. Think about it. 4 gallons. Yeah. And you're like, oh well, you can get more money. And then I heard Costco takes food stamps, but you got to get to a Costco. So let's see, that's 8. That's instead of 4 gallons, that's 6 gallons. You can get 6 gallons of milk. But you get, instead of where we live, it's 4. So you're subsidy. But as soon as the thing is, you got to look at your pricing. I mean, literally. I mean, with me, of course, let me tell you. I'm always telling you guys to look up sales on deals. I mean, literally, last night I went ahead and I went and looked up deals on groceries. Chloe's like, we need a rib roast. I love a rib roast. Fortunately, the price of rib roast is very expensive. You got rib roast, and you got other expenses. I mean, look, like I said to my neighbor, she wanted a TV too with the karaoke machine. She's got it. It's coming tomorrow. Do you think I'm worried about a new TV? No. I could tell my adopted brother Ted, need new TV. But that TV money could go to food. Think about it. A lot of these people sit there and say, oh yeah, I need the next phone because, I'm entitled. And all of a sudden, you got a choice. You can buy the new phone, but can you eat it? Or are you going to go hungry? A lot of people don't realize that in this day and age, you're going to go hungry if you don't basically focus on prepping. I mean, the world's going down the toilet in a handbasket, and everyone's worried about prepping. And yet, the preppers out there, they claim to be the small channels like me or the others. I mean, other preppers, the people out there, they're worried about their food stamps, and I'm not worried. I got like 5 years of food. Yeah. Fortunately, the people out there, the people that are not, there's a moral value here, okay? The moral value is watch and see what happens in the next 30 days. If the food stamps are partially funded, they're going to have to choose who gets what. And if it isn't, the government says, no, it's unconstitutional, it goes to the Supreme Court, which it should, then the food stamps should be halted because we don't have 12 appropriation bills. As long as the government has got no appropriations, the government shouldn't function. I mean, look, a lot of people here, they're worried about housing. That's the other thing. The USDA, without HUD and the USDA funding, housing is, new loans are on hold. But what if HUD in the suburbs has no reserve currencies or cash, right? and they got to live on a month to month with very little peanuts because they have a subsidized building, and yet there's no reserve cash. They could basically default on their loans because of it, but the government's not open, so the loans aren't defaulted. It just means the managers have to cut corners. And so without reserve funding, the main problem is the government, when the longer the government shut down, the longer things can happen between evictions and illegal actions. And literally, has anyone ever thought, okay, the USDA and HUD, right, they're shut down, right? You say, oh, well, it doesn't matter to me. Well, let me put it this way. The reason the government is being challenged by the USDA and HUD right now is they have rules put in place for housing rules, like empty units. After 30 days, you don't move someone in, you get penalized, right? The government shut down, they can't penalize you. They can go, if we get retroactive food stamps, they can retroactive give penalizing. But the legalese is the management company can turn around and say, hey, we have to go through your specialist to get this approved by this person to move in. We can't do it. The government shut down. So then they turn around and they say, good point. So the government shut down. There's two problems here. They can't move in new people. That's the first thing. And with, we have, we're in a housing crisis, right? And yet there is literally one unit being cleaned up right now. And that could stop due to the fact that funding should be stopped. I would have stopped it because, with every reason. Then you have the downstairs unit next to me. That's empty. It's been empty since May. And then you have another unit that's just being emptied supposedly because there's a U-Haul. Unless the U-Haul is there for something else. So you got all this stuff going around. And yet no one knows what's going on in the world. Plain and simple, people. Plain and simple. So, that's what I needed to tell you. When you guys sit there and you think, our food stamp, what about the people that the longer your food stamps is nothing, okay? The food stamps is just one step. Your phone can be turned on, which AI says it won't happen. The government phone. But without you being qualifying on Medicare or food stamps, they could just boot you or whatever. Then you got the other people going, oh, well, I qualify for, I'm entitled, right? Until your entitlement gets taken away, and then you're sitting there homeless because you didn't realize that without a government opening, housing gets gutted. That's what they're doing. They're gutting any program that's pretty much spends money on worthless people. That's what the Republicans think of Democrats or Democrats that believe in entitlements. Yeah. When you think about it, I heard rumors back in the 40s, a woman goes in, gives birth, it's between $100 and $200 to give birth out the door for the hospital bill. Now it's like $200,000 to $800,000 or more. Think about it, how it was corporate greed taking over. Back then it was cheap. Now you can't even do that. So, in my opinion, it is what it is. And I don't like it. But I'm not here to complain either. I'm here to say the facts. And the facts are, if one government program your food stamps are worried about, what about the people in the housing? What, you're not worried about that? Your food's more important than housing? Then what happens if all of a sudden they turn around and they give a number, it's like 100 million people are homeless because the government decided to cut out food stamps, Medicaid, and housing. And then what? Then even every elderly on the Medicaid block and Medicare block to get dual, they can only get one. And some of them, by the way, there's another program. Let me ask AI another question about this because it just popped in my head. Tell me about the Medicaid payment plan where the states or the federal government pays people's Medicaid premiums if they're under a certain population. Does that get shut down during a government shutdown? So, for both the Medicare Savings Program and general Medicaid funding, the answer is no. However, non-discretionary spending, Medicare and Medicaid are considered mandatory. So it says even every state that covers the Medicaid savings, the Medicaid, what is it called? Medicaid Savings Program is covered as mandatory. See, there you go. So the next question you have to ask is, if that funding is mandatory, a lot of people are complaining about it because that's a dual coverage. And does that mean the Medicare Part C, hold on. What about the Medicare Part D program, the one where the extra help? Does that get shut down too? Known as the low-income subsidy, but it's widely referred to as extra help. It's mandatory funding. So, apparently, even though there's administrative delays, it's mandatory funding. So, mandatory funding for your Part D coverage. Yeah, so, but with the new enrollments, people are seeing the numbers now. But the point I'm trying to make to you guys is the American people need to know that, that the main programs that they're trying to axe currently is food stamps. If they get away at food stamps, they'll go and get rid of the food banks. The food banks, if the food banks aren't federally funded, it'll be state funded. The federal, state funded and county funded, then eventually the food banks are going to have to tighten their lips and take donors. And if the donors don't want to pay, because a lot of people don't, when the grocery stores turn around and they bring in too much food, and that food's now going to go expired, and they donate it to food banks, which they do, or the food bank buys it for like 2 cents to the dollar, I think, or 1 cent to the dollar, really cheap. Unfortunately, then the food bank gives foods that are expired, which means people get sick. And that means, like, for example, the grocery stores are a big hassle, for running out of food. I mean, it's like we have a program here where churches can help with groceries, but unfortunately, as I've heard, the churches are severely underfunded, I should say, because everyone's demanding help, and because of it, you see what's going on in the world. And so, we have the church programs, we got other programs here. They're strapped thin. They're basically cash strapped thin. People are going, oh, well, and they're like, look, can you survive? People, they're running in being like, I need a voucher, and it's like $75. That's it, every 6 months. Here's your voucher. They call me and they say, hey, what do you know? And I'm like, well, government shut down one day, or, let's see, and there's people worried, but, the big picture is the housing. The housing problem is the worst problem out of it all. Housing is a problem. Fortunately, how do you contain housing and how do you contain food stamps? I mean, I have an advocate that was complaining that there's this person who's half the building of one building across town, all drugs, drug users, drug dealers, living on SSI, SSDI, survivors, retirements, food stamps, Medicaid, welfare, you name it, they're getting everything and they're on drugs. And they're like, this can't continue. Well, think about it. Why do you think the President of the United States is going after druggers? Because they don't like it. I mean, literally, if the president could kick out every person who's a pothead in every subsidized building and give it to non-potheads, would be fine. But then he'd turn around and kick out everyone on crack, meth, and coke, too. You see? Thing is, president's got a big thing about drugs. I mean, literally. I mean, the point is the president has a motive. I mean, literally. The motives the motives are you don't basically be on the public dole, right? And I've learned a lot of lessons, and basically be an alcoholic or a drug addict, because the Bible states if you're an alcoholic, you're going to basically be poor with holy clothes and you know, you're not going to get anywhere, and you're going to be like the blind man asking to be led around because you need to be taken care of. And in this day and age, the Americans need to realize that, you know, a country would be better suited. But, you know, with all this free money, the free money spigot's got to empty himself. I mean, people on Social Security, disability, survivors, retirement, SSI, that's got to continue. But they need to make it harder for people to sit there. I mean, literally, when they say 3 months out of 3 years for food stamps, that's not bad if you're in an emergency situation. But what if the food, I mean, literally, what if, you know, I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing is what if, you know, and a lot of people say, well, you know, Rita, you're a bigot. I'm not a bigot. I'm just saying, think about it. I mean, I've seen it with my own eyes. Hispanic women driving Corvettes in their nice house, collecting food stamps and welfare, and then driving her kids in a beat up van while she keeps her car hidden, and then acting like a hooker and whore where kids are at school. I mean, literally, I've seen this stuff. Do you think it's not right? Yes, but the point is the American people sit there and say, well, you know, what can we do? The thing is, you gotta prep. You have to prep. I mean, literally, look at my family. My family, they're struggling. I think that's one reason why they're not messaging me, is they're struggling. They're struggling because they're angry. You know, they're like, you know, my cousin taught me that, you know, certain items are luxury items. I food bank gives butter. I have to salt my own butter. I've learned how to salt my own butter, make it salty. Yeah, salted butter. Otherwise, a little salt, you know, and you can do it yourself. Fortunately, the point is the food bank is starting to cut corners. I mean, literally, I got like expired hamburger that was 9 months old, frozen, and I got like 11-month-old hot dogs the other day. That tells you right there what you need to know. I mean, literally, the country is hurting. But is it, you know, the country's job to feed you? That is something you got to ask yourself. Is it the country's job to support you, or is that a different thing? I mean, in my opinion, how's that going to work out? You know, I mean, you know, you a lot of people say, oh well, you know, the Christians say you need to be taken care of, but what happens if the Christians, you know, are not being taken care of? Okay, so just out of curiosity. So apparently, no one won the Powerball this week again, and the Mega is at 800 million. Yeah, see, I was just checking that. But anyways, you see where I'm going with this, people? I mean, honestly, you have to ask yourself the big questions. Are you prepped? Are you willing to get through a month? Are you willing to get through 2 months? I mean, I told you a long time ago, if you're going to be prepping, then you better be prepping. Look at Amazon, for example. Let me tell you what Amazon did to me. They turned around and I locked my card up after using it for shopping, right? Wait, we can't take payment out. So I email Amazon. They're like, oh, we just want a temporary hold. No, you don't. You basically take that temporary hold, you take the money out, live on the interest, and then you ship me the product 4 days later. And the guy says, okay, we do that. And I said, yeah. So basically, you know, you just want your money now. So why don't you just basically say, we take your money now and we ship item later. Thing is, Amazon's used to be, we ship item after, we take payment afterwards. But lately, they're doing it differently because they want their money, because they're struggling and people don't see they're struggling. So that's how it works. I mean, in my opinion, you have to ask yourself. You're going to have to see how the business practices are going to change so these companies get paid. They're going to cut corners. Grocery stores are going to cut corners. Alright, so I need my thermos. Alright, so it looks like I got to make some more coffee. So I guess I can just try this stale stuff. Alright. Here we go. Okay, looks like we are really... Do we have any more in there, or did we run out? No. Alright, well, we sell this what we need to. We got caffeine too, and tea. Anywho, basically what I wanted to tell you guys is the fact that, sorry I made some coffee, is, you know, as a prepper, it's time for us to prep. It's not time to buy things. I mean, literally, a lot of people say, well, you know, Rita, what are we going to do about Thanksgiving? Well, Thanksgiving is approximately 26 to 25 days away. Between now and 25 days, the government could be reopened or the government could stay shut. The question is, who's going to be blamed for it? See, the Democrats want to blame the Republicans for it, saying, see, your food stamps have been cut. If we were in power, we'd get it back. They don't care about that. They care about, you know, they care about, you know, their government programs being gutted because, you know, the thing is, it's a big bloated government. So the bottom line is the American people need to realize that the government's bloated, and you know, there's a lot of government agencies out there that people think that are just a waste of money. I mean, the numbers are what, 2 million or furloughed or something, 1.5 million, 2 million furloughed. I mean, that's a lot of government employees. Then they say, oh well, a lot of the military could turn around and basically not sign up again, leaving with what, fat people all over the country trying to be in the military. I mean, the point is, there's a lot of people out there complaining about Americans in general, and that's one reason why the Republicans turn around and say, look, you got, you know, people working hard, paying their taxes, and they see they're struggling because we're taking money out for FICA and Social Security and whatever else, you know. And then they pay property taxes. You know, my adopted brother Ted, he thinks we should dissolve property taxes. My father-in-law is the same way, but my father-in-law is a big pothead too. So Mr. Pothead thinks dissolving the property taxes, you know, because it's another form of taxation, you know. I mean, to me, he's like, well, we vote for the auditor and the county auditor. I mean, if you look at it, you know, he's like, you know, taxes shouldn't be paid. Taxes have been around for years. Kings imposed taxes a long time ago on property. I mean, it's like the king came by with his little minions and said, hey, you got to pay your taxes, you know. But then again, you know, you have all these people that turn around, you know, and they're like, well, you know, we have a deficit problem. The president may be right. We may have a deficit problem. I'm not going to go out on a limb for him, but has anyone ever realized that all these people with their free stuff basically turns around and then they're complaining, you know? I mean, look, we import most everything. If we grew our own stuff, we wouldn't have a problem. We grow oranges in California and Florida. We grow certain vegetables. But the point is, we need more farmland. Instead, we're mostly a customer service country now, where, you know, we have call centers and we do this, and, you know, retail and, you know, hospitality, and, you know, I mean, there's very few factories, and what factories are around are little businesses. I mean, literally, they're going out of business. They're literally going out of business because they're going out of business. And I, for one, yeah, they're going out of business. And the American people need to realize they're going out of business. And, you know, manufacturing's not there. Countries like China can do a better job. And so then all of a sudden you see, these huge tariffs. And then they're like, oh, the $800 minimum tariff's gone. Yeah, because, the thing is, you got a guy who doesn't want anyone to pay. He thinks every tariff should be going. Where's our tariff money going anyways? I'd like to know where it's going, literally. Well, where's our money going anyways? I mean, are we really... He's claiming we already got $20 trillion in tariffs paid. Every time you hear him, he says, oh, yeah, it's $40 trillion or $80 trillion in tariffs. Really? I'd like to see the actual numbers, for fact-checking for a reason, Oh, so apparently my coffee was shipped. They finally took the coffee and said, okay, your coffee is shipped. Yeah, I can believe that. My coffee was finally shipped. It says right there, your coffee has been shipped. Yeah. Just my one coffee. My other order hasn't been shipped, So my two things of my Kona coffee, I got some Kauai coffee, dark roast. Apparently I can't get light roast because or medium roast I should say, because the medium roast is quote unquote not in stock. Yeah, so it's like the only thing you can get is dark roast. So hopefully the dark roast will last me till Chloe comes. But she's, it says shipped by Tuesday. So, that's the other thing. Amazon used to basically deliver my coffee in 24 hours. But now, it says right here, Wednesday. So they've changed their delivery date. So instead, it's now 3-day delivery instead of overnight. Usually you can order things, but, my candy, they're like, delivery will be Friday. So, for Amazon, they're like, they're like, yeah, it isn't shipped yet, and so, but yeah, Chloe's like saying to me, she's got an order coming in on Friday. She ordered soup. She just went ahead and blew through and wanted soup. She's like, we need soup. We have to have soups for cooking, and yet. It's fine and dandy until you find out there is no soup available because they're like limiting you on soup. 50 cents a can. She had to literally buy cream of chicken and cream of mushroom. And the cream of mushroom, it's on sale. But they're like, nope, you're limited to 10 cans a month. So 10 cans of soup a month. Think about that. You preppers should realize we're going to be getting limits soon on everything. My neighbor was complaining about that the other day. She's like, yeah, so for example, go Happy Belly Soup. You got cream of chicken, cream of mushroom, chicken noodle, cream of celery. You can buy that too, Brandon. Chloe can. She's like, just stock up. And then you have tomato. And tomato's not available because, well, it's tomato. So, Chloe's always stock up, And so, like here's chicken noodle. Just load it up, so 10 cans, right? It says 10 cans. And then you go back here because it shows tomato. And if you click on tomato, I say tomato, you say potato. I say potato, you say potato. Data on Star Trek. So there it goes. Tomato sold out. And it says purchase another variant. So if you want cream of celery, you can buy 10 things. And it says due out on Friday. So for example, 10 cans will be on sale with the deal. It's like $6.20 for 20 cans. So you got 20 cans of soup, and it's right there is approximately, it says buy more, so right there 10 cans of each. And then they're going to say, whoops, you can't do that because, you bought your limit. So, Chloe's always saying, I did this. She was trying to order some for herself. So you get the idea what happened. So they're like literally limiting you on your purchases, and it's not cool. So, but anyways, yeah, so the point is we're going to start seeing food limits from the stores. They're going to start limiting it like a food bank. It's going to be like limit 2 for the price. And, they're going to start doing this, and we may go back to the Great Depression. But the thing is you got to ask yourself, what are they trying to bankrupt, And the thing is, could be healthcare, could be prescription drugs. I mean, the medication companies, they make all these meds, and yet they push all these drugs, and yet we don't know what the actual side effects are. Look at hubby. He was on 6 types of antipsychotics, and he died at 38 of heart disease. So you do the math. You do the math. Yeah. So, anyways, I could sit here all night talking, but I got things to do. It's like getting the dog out, having my morning game time for my sister. Dinner is gonna be one of those mega meals or mega bowls tonight from Banquet. Or I could do with chicken chimichangas. I haven't done the chicken chimichangas yet. I haven't tried them out yet. But, I'm on a Mexican, Hispanic, Latino food kick, so, they're tasty. But, thing is, you gotta be frugal. So, thing is you have to look at the big picture. And so, to me, I'm here to tell you that, we're going to have to be frugal. And, you people say, well, but what about Thanksgiving? Again, Thanksgiving, you can basically buy yourself 2 whole chickens and be happy and content. Now, if they give you a free turkey, take it. Fortunately, in this country, you don't know what's going to happen. And so, a lot of the Democrats are hoping that your Thanksgiving's ruined, and then they can sit there and next year's election be like, I'm Chuck Schumer, and and look at your Christmas, it was pretty bad. Yeah, your Thanksgiving was bad, and you got to blame the Republicans. Yeah, but you guys are basically sitting there standing at 2 principles. You're doing food stamps and health care. I mean, literally, now people are getting up homeless because of housing. The thing is, this might blow up in their face, okay? Let me tell you why. Because a lot of you people sit there and you say to me, well, how is this going to blow up in the Republicans' face? No, I'm with the Democrats. You see, Democrats are holding on, right? Little Johnson says, I like calling him Little Johnson. Little Johnson turns around and says stuff like, whoa, you're going to blame the Democrats. I'm blaming both parties because you guys can't come together to just pass 12 bills. You got to sit there and blame it, right? I mean, literally, I have Medicare, so technically Medicare sucks. But you know what? I have Medicare, right? And right now, by the way, what is the Medicare premiums going to go up to? Well, let me ask that to the AI because that's a big number too. You see, a lot of people are worried about that. And I've been emailed about that, and I can't even remember why. But let me ask. Hey, what is the current Medicare premium cost for that, and what is 2026 going to be going up to? So, because it makes a big difference. The cost of living does not cover Medicare premiums. Let me see here. So currently it's $185. All right, break it down to the nearest dollar. So basically, it's going up $30, right? So there you go. So your cost of living increase for anyone who's on Medicare just got wiped out of the cost of living increase. So the monthly premium goes up $22. So the average person will not be getting much. So I get like $17 extra a month after the cost of living adjustment. So if I remember correctly, hold on a second. Let me just figure this out. So apparently the cost of living adjustment, hypothetically, is approximately not giving me much of a look. So I go from 1624 to 1660. Then do the math, how much do I have left over after the 2026? Alright, so mine goes up 45 bucks, was it? Let me look. So mine goes up $45, right? Is that about right? Hold on. So what I'm asking, I have to tell the AI this properly, is if I gave you the price that I'm going to be getting updated after the premium. So my question is that a $45 increase per month? That's all I care about. That's what I was asking. Was it $45 price increase? You didn't tell me, so I got the numbers right. I had to use it in my head. All right, so $45 increase minus the new cost of living increase. And she says, so apparently, let me just count this because she's being a dipstick. 34, 44, 54, 64. 5 is 9, is 69. Okay, so $45 increase, right? $45 increase. Hold on. So there's a $45 increase, people, because people sit there and they say, oh, well, you know, $45 increase. I need my calculator because the AI is sometimes stupid when it comes to it. Here we go. So $45. So basically it leaves me with $23.50 per month additional, which means my rent goes up approximately $5 a month. Yeah, see, because of it. Look, I've been on the damn poor tier 1, the standard tier for years. Yeah. So she's like, wow, because of this, your premium is going to go up $300. Not likely. That's what I was. Now the phone slipped. Yeah. Oh well. Doesn't matter where it went, right? In my opinion, it just fell or disappeared. Yeah, so yeah, see, that's it right there. She's like, oh well, yeah. Anyways, the point is this is the things that you guys got to think about. So while you sit there and you worry about your food stamps, right? Food stamps, if they reinstate it, my food stamps may go up $3 a month more because of the cost of living, but then we don't know what 2027 is going to bring. Now, my adopted brother, he's trying to get on disability. He's like, oh, well, we could pay it, really. Until they turn around and they basically jack it up to the point of no return. I mean, literally, Medicare is worse than Medicaid. Medicaid's worse because you got to get everything, but Medicare is getting worse, too. And you know, so with me, I just go see a doctor, and then the specialists are really a hard pain because the doctor's got to do it, and then they got to pre-approve it, and then they got to wait for it, and then it takes 8 weeks, sometimes 16 weeks, and anyways, the bottom line is you see where we're going with this. So premiums are pretty high, and so basically teaching you guys that the value of things is getting worse, and that is something I wanted to share with you guys because it is getting pretty dang worse, and because of it, yeah. And then my Amazon, my email is literally saying, do you want to wait for your packages? And it's like trying to tell me they want to send me updates, my packages. It's like, no, I don't want updates on my packages. What I want is no updates on packages. Yeah, so I can find it on my own. So, but anyways, the bottom line is, you know, a lot of people sit there and they're all worried about the food stamps. And the thing is that all you're worried about you're going to eat? Because I told you a long time ago, if you don't prep, you don't eat. And I told you this was coming down the pipe months ago, and you're just in case. I said there's 3 reasons why you prep. Something like this government crisis. 2 is nuclear war. 3 is civil war. Or 4 is a Great Depression, which we could be coming down that rabbit hole because if people can't eat, you know, I mean, I've seen a lot of comments say, you know, get off your lazy butt and work. Well, maybe not. Maybe if you can, you know, I mean, literally, there's a lot of people out there that they think they're entitled to Uncle Sam supplying them with the latest and greatest phones while they're on food stamps and Medicare. and Medicaid and, whatever else. And then they're like, oh, I'm in government housing. And, and the thing is, on HUD, if you're not disabled, under Section 8, then you shouldn't be living there long term. Now, if you're disabled elderly, you should live there long term, whereas these other people, they should be limited. But, it also is based on your income, between 20% and 80%. Fortunately, the thing is this is where the system is literally broken. And there's a lot of people out there taking advantage of it. And that is why you have to look the big picture when it comes to other issues. Like, will they restore it? Maybe not. But you know what? It'll be entertaining to see what happens, at least to say the least. Because if they don't restore it, then that means they found a way to gut it permanently. But to gut it permanently, they would have to keep the government shut down. Yeah, and that could happen. But then what happens when the military doesn't get paid? Let's just say all the military leaves and our ships are sitting there, and the government's like, oh, these Navy sailors, they get to stay there until they do their job. And but if they start downsizing and everyone gets out of the military and they don't get back into the military would be literally crippled. The thing is the question you got to ask yourself is, what are they doing? They're trying to downsize. Do you think it's right for you to wake up in the morning and say, my food stamps aren't here coming because of it? This is why you should have had things. I mean, look at Ted. He wants to brag. He's got $552 saved over for the last 3+ years at food stamps. Well, good for you, Ted. Chloe, she's prepped. I'm prepped. My sister, Teddy's prepped. We all prepped. What did you guys do? You sat there and be like, oh yeah, I got my Disney and my Hulu and my Netflix and my ESPN and my HBO Max combined and I'm watching and I'm next you know, I'm hungry. Yeah, well, guess what? I mean, you should have prepped. And that's the thing. And I've told you this how many times, but you didn't listen. Yeah. I mean, I will be doing daily videos on this, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I mean, tomorrow we'll know if the judge basically gets his way up. I would not. I would say it's unconstitutional due to the fact that we're in a constitutional crisis, and the fact that the Constitution is at the hands of Congress, and if Congress ain't going to fund food stamps, then blame it on both Congress and the Senate. And if they can't pass this bill to feed you guys, then you need to go to the polls and vote. By the way, Tuesday is voting day. Get out and vote. And if you want to vote for Democrats, do it. If you want to vote for Republicans, do it. If you want to vote independent, do it. Point is, the American people need to realize that if you're voting just because you're pissed off that the Republicans took away your food stamps, that's not a reason to vote them out. There's other reasons why to vote them out if you have a reason. Food stamps ain't one of them. I mean, literally, I want you guys to think. If you're watching my video tonight, I want you to think. Why is the food stamps cut? 2 reasons. In my opinion, theory 1, as I said, Epstein. Theory 2, Project 2025. Otherwise, the government is in a debt. Go to the debt clock and look it up yourself. You can't just sit there and say, oh, the government owes me. The government doesn't owe you crap, right? The government owes you zilch. What you owe yourself is yourself. I mean, look, in my opinion, and I said this time and time again, the neighbor who bought 2 karaoke machines and, reimbursed me for it, I had to use my own card, but she reimbursed me fully. That's her opinion. She wasted her money. She goes hungry. It's not my problem. The TV, same thing. Not my problem. I mean, literally. I mean, yeah. I mean, in this day and age, my father, Roy, once said, how many TVs do you need in the house? Well, it depends. How many people do you have there? He used to have like a 13-inch, and then, I think it was a 13-inch. He used just fine. His vision was pretty good. So, I don't know about now, but, when I saw his house pictures before he moved out, because it was up for sale, it's like every room had a TV. It's like, I thought you were frugal. Unless you just decided to, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, so, anywho, Unless that was my brother's house, you see. But anyways, you guys get the point. I love all of you. And you just got to ask right now. Because I'm about to do a video eventually about why the country's gone down the toilet. And it's going to be basically a long one about why, you know, we have a spending problem in this country. We see something, we need to have it. I mean, look, I will admit, for example, let me just pull up something for fun. Oh yeah, see, look at this. So Steam's got a sale going on right now for money. They're like, there's a game we're charging $30 off, right? And it's like, see, even Steam needs money because they're hurting because of the food stamp problem. Yeah. Anyways, let me just do this. I want to see something. Bar soap, right? So here we go. So Coast, $5, right there. Coast, $5. Zest, $4.98. See, yeah. Zest, $4.98. Right there. Again, you guys turn around. Oh, that's one bar. Yeah, see, right there. You guys complain, right? Oh, here's Irish Spring, 3 bars. But yeah, I mean, these are 8 bars. So 8 bars of soap for $5. I mean, this is something that you guys got to think about. You see. Oh, and you can buy up to 2. So yeah, see, Coast 2, and Zest 2. And pack of wood 2. There you go. See, 2 bars of soap right there. See, so 6 packs of soap there, right? I'm just keeping my shopping cart temporary, but yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, literally, and some candy and some other stuff. But you see the point. Point is it's cheap. This is stuff that they're doing right now to make sure you get clean, but at the same time, your food prices may be high. So, but thing is you see, those are the prices that they entice you to go and buy. And for example, you put in your shopping cart, then you check out, and you think it's $4, right? That's 8 bars. That's like a couple months soap. Meanwhile, you don't have to worry about that. It's like the light bulbs today. The light bulbs are fine. So, anyways, with that said, everyone. Like I said, I got to use the restroom and get the dog out. So, but anyways, you guys all need to realize we're in an economy where everyone finances everything. And like moderator Chris says, he'll just finance stuff if he needs food. Really? Until the banks decide that your credit's not good because basically you're on disability and half the country is going down the toilet because there's no food stamps. This is why I keep telling everyone to prep. I love Chris dearly. He knows this. My point is as a prepper, we have to prep. We can't basically sit there and not prep. Also, another tip I want to give you guys is cash on the barrel. If you can't buy it and you can't afford it, don't buy it. Plain and simple. You'll be better suited in the future. Start penny pinching. Because I think we're going into a Great Depression soon. So, with that said, I hope to see you soon. I hope you guys like my videos. I may do one more tonight. I may not, just depending. But you guys get the idea. So, I hope you liked it. Like I said, we are in a thing where there's a lot of people thinking they're entitled, and they're not. And so, we'll see how this plays out. In the meantime, please add and subscribe. Please post comments, leave feedback, suggestions, hit the like, subscribe button, hold some fun for your family, including your dogs, cats, your bunnies, service dogs, service bunnies. Hit the bell notification, thumbs up button, subscribe button, keep the comments nice. All we ask. Thank you, and God bless you in everything you do.